Welcome everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to draw the inverse function. So suppose you're looking at this graph f of x. To draw the inverse function, we're first going to sketch the line y equals x, which is this line right here. Let's call this the line y equals x. And we're going to reflect f of x about this line y equals x. So this point right here will reflect over and you'll travel to this direction. And then all of these points will drop over, reflect about the line y equals x, and you'll have something that looks like that. So this will be the graph of f inverse of x. Pretty much the idea is to reflect a graph about the line y equals x, and you get the graph of the inverse function. Let's go ahead and generalize this. So if we want to obtain the graph of f inverse, we simply take the graph of f of x and reflect about the line y equals x. That's how we're going to graph the f inverse or inverse graph of a function. Now this is also known as the identity function. Let's go ahead and try to graph another familiar function and find its inverse function as well. So here's our xy plane. Let's take a look at this graph right here. You're probably exposed to this graph by now. This is the graph of, let's call it f of x equals ln of x. Now, if I want to graph the inverse function, I simply draw the line y equals x first. And then I take this graph and reflect it about this line y equals x. And that will be my inverse function. So I see this point is on the graph of f of x. So I'm going to reflect. It will become now somewhere right here, which would be the coordinates 0, 1. And if you reflect everything, all of this gets reflected over. So you'll have something that would be looking like this. So this is the left side of the graph, and the right side of the graph looks something like that. So that's the inverse function of f of x. And by now you're probably familiar with this. This is the graph of the exponential e to the x. Let's go ahead and try to graph this function and its inverse on the same coordinate axis. So f of x equals square root of x minus 2. So that's the graph of square root that's been shifted 2 units to the right. So let's say right here. And we know square root of x looks like this. So this is the graph of f of x, which is the square root of x minus 2. So we're going to go ahead and draw the line y equals x. So here's our line y equals x. And we're going to reflect f of x about this line y equals x. So notice the point 2, 0, which is this one right here. It's going to become 0, 2. So suppose it'll be somewhere up there. So you can see that this gets reflected over and the coordinates are now switched. Instead of 2, 0, now it's 0, 2. And the shape of the curve will also reflect over the line y equals x, and it will look something like this. So that will be the graph of f inverse of x.